Hi everyone. My name is Ginger, and if you're new to our channel, I am a travel agent with Marvelous Mouse Travels, and this is my husband Evan.
Hello.
We are going live from our hotel room at Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, which is one of the on site hotels at Universal Orlando. We are here doing some resort tours and we're here just enjoying the parks. And, one of the questions that, as things have started to reopen, that I have gotten from so many people, a concern that I've heard over and over again is like, what about the masks and heat? Because Florida, undoubtedly, especially in the summer, is very hot. And so a lot of people are concerned about how they'll do in the mask in the theme parks. And so we were at Universal Orlando today. We were in both of their two main theme parks, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. We were there from early entry at 8 in the morning till what time would you say we left?
Well, we probably left about 3:30 or
Yeah,
4.
3:30 or 4. So, and they close at 6. So we were there almost as long as you possibly can be. And obviously we wore the masks the whole time because you're required to, not just in the theme parks, but in all of Orange County. There is a mandatory mask requirement right now. And so we wanted to hop on and share our experience having dealt with masks in the theme parks, and also on the resort hotels everywhere we've walked
Because
today.
that is such a big question now.
Yeah, it's such a big question now. And so, Evan, I want to hear your opinion first. How did you feel about your comfort level with the mask in the parks?
Well, why don't we show them the mask that
Yeah.
we were using? So we were using a net gator like this. Why they're called gators, I have no idea.
Yeah,
And
we're not real sure.
it's spelled Gaiter.
Yeah, but it slips over your head and it looks,
Yeah,
kind of like that when it's on. So it's
yeah.
it's over your neck and all the way up over your
And
nose.
we got those off, and we got a pack of 6 on Amazon
Mm-hmm.
for $16,
Mm-hmm.
15.99.
Yeah.
And we'll put a link to that affiliate link to that in the description below if you want to check them out.
Yeah, and this is moisture wicking
Yeah.
material. It's very breathable. These masks are. Yeah.
So we only own 2 styles of masks. We own these, the net gaiters, and we own like the reusable cloth masks that go behind your ears.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: those masks make me hot just
Inside.
inside an air conditioned building. Okay,
Me too.
they after a while, they start bugging your ears, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I can say for these, yesterday Ginger actually had on. We were touring some resorts like Fort Wilderness at Disney, and Ginger had on a reusable cloth mask that went behind her ears for like the first part of the day. Then she switched into a net gaiter after that,
Night
and
and day.
she said immediately, she said, "Oh, it's a world of difference."
Mm-hmm.
So having that moisture wicking breathable material helps. Um, it does keep you cool. And here's the thing in the park today. So for like the first 5 minutes, you're thinking about your mask, but after that, you just get used to it, and you just it's just part of what you're doing. I mean, like it it wasn't as big of a deal as even I thought it'd be. Um, it was, like I said, you think about it for the first 5 minutes or so, but then after that, you kind of forget about it. Like it's just part of what you're doing. Like you just go with it.
So much so that we got in the car, we walked out of the lobby of our resort to go to Disney Springs tonight. And I got in the car and I wore my mask for like the first few minutes in the car because I forgot it was there. And then I was like, oh, I'm in the car. I can take this off now. But, yeah.
And so, like the first few minutes, I was thinking about it and everything, and these stayed on really well. I rode Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket twice, and it did not come off either time. I rode the Hulk once. Both those are roller coasters, by the way, if you weren't familiar. They're probably two of the more intense roller coasters at Universal Orlando. And at the Hulk, it started coming down a little bit, but I was able to just move her back up. So, I mean, it stayed on in the rides. Um, I was pleased with it. A lot of people say, is it going to be too hot in the mask? Listen, that ain't your concern. That's not what to be concerned
Yeah.
about. The thing that makes you too hot is the fact that it was 97 degrees in Orlando
And
today.
sunny.
And sunny, yeah.
No cloud cover, no breeze. And I will say, I don't feel at any point like I was sweating because of the mask.
Right.
I was like sweating on the mask because it was 97. But with this being that moisture wicking material, I actually feel like it might have even helped me feel cool, especially like around the back of my neck,
Right.
because these are all the way down, and so it almost served like as a cooling towel. And I would imagine, now we didn't try this, but I would imagine that you could probably even wet this before you put it on, and it might almost serve
Yeah,
as kind
just
of
like
like
one of
a
those
cooling
cooling towels.
towel for you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's the best of both worlds.
Now, Ginger did find out a face mask hack today. um, she got a frozen butterbeer, and by the way, if you're not sure what that is, because a lot of people probably hear about that and they're like, what even is that?
It's like, it tastes like butterscotch. Is
Yeah.
the best way, and it's non-alcoholic, so kids can have it too.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was having a frozen one, and she took a sip of it, and then put her mask back up, and she goes,
It's
"Oh,
like air conditioning. My cold breath in the mask cooled everything off. So,
And so I
pro
thought,
tip.
well, then she wasn't kidding, because later on we got a frozen lemonade icy, which with a refillable cup, you can get them every 10 minutes. So we got a lemonade one, and I took a sip of it, and then I breathed. I was like, "Oh my goodness, you're right."
Yep, it does.
It really is like a
Yeah.
face air conditioner inside your mask. It's cool.
And if at any point, I will say, I was great during the morning hours. Like Evan said, you really do kind of forget that it's there.
get
You
used to
just
it.
get used to it. Would it have probably been marginally cooler without it on? Maybe.
Probably, yeah, sure.
But it did protect my face from sunburn. I'll tell you that. Like, I've got a little bit of, covered it up with makeup so you can't see it well, but I've got a little sunburn here and a little sunburn here, but underneath the mask, I'm obviously not sunburned. So it helped with that. About 2 o'clock, I started to be like, I need a break from this mask. And if you need a break, there are areas in both parks, and there's one in City Walk called You Rest areas, where you can go, and they have social distance markers. They even have some tables and places you can sit down. There's a team member kind of overseeing that, making sure that people are staying as an appropriate distance apart. But you can go in those areas and you can take the mask off.
And they're typically shaded areas.
Nice areas. Like the one in City Walk is right in front of the Orlando Globe. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
pretty
great
cool.
place to go in there, take your mask down, take a picture without your mask on in front of the Globe if you want to do that.
We definitely think that was by design.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got a picture there,
We
like
did.
in front
We
of the
did.
globe.
And it worked out well. So if you need a break, you can go in one of those You Rest areas, or you can do what we did. We just went and ate. We walked into a quick service restaurant, and we had, a little snack, and we sat in air conditioning for a while, and then we were fine. So, I mean,
And do the face air conditioning thing. We get like a frozen icy or something, and drink some and breathe.
yeah. I definitely think hydration is important in the parks at this time of year, whether you're wearing a mask or not. So I think it's important to stay hydrated. That will help you deal with the heat. But I really don't feel like, for me, the mask was enough of an issue to make me not come to the theme parks right now, because the crowd levels were incredibly low today. Now, granted, it's a Thursday. So there's not the weekend crowds here. We did notice when we went to Disney Springs that it was significantly more crowded at Disney Springs than it was at Universal today. But I don't feel like it's enough of an issue that it would keep me out of the park. In fact, I don't think I would feel comfortable coming to the parks without wearing a mask right now. Just because there is more cases in the Florida area, and so I personally feel more comfortable me wearing a mask, having other people around me wear a mask too. And kids, we saw a lot of kids doing really well with their masks today. I saw one instance where a child was having a little bit of an issue with the mask, crying, not wanting to put it on. But for the most part, kids that we saw were doing fabulous in the masks today.
And speaking of that, the COVID preparations that the park has made, there are social distancing markers and lines all over the place. And I don't think I've ever used more hand sanitizer on my hands in one day than I did today.
Yeah, every time you get on a ride, they squirt everybody's hands with hand sanitizer. And as you get off, there's readily available hand sanitizer.
It was funny.
Yeah.
We rode the Spider-Man ride, and while we were waiting in line, Ginger asked the gentleman that was working how many bottles of this hand sanitizer you think you go through, because they're holding it for you. The cast members holding it, and as you about to approach the ride,
They squirt
they're
everybody.
squirting, and then they socially distance you from other passengers on like rides, for example.
Yeah, like we had one entire ride vehicle to ourselves on a Harry Potter and the Escape from Crickets. We were
Yep.
the only people in the whole vehicle.
And when I rode the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, I was just a party of one, and so I was the only person on my row, and the next closest people to me were 2 rows behind me. So there's a row in between everybody. If you're in a family of whatever, however many people, you won't be anywhere near the next family on the ride vehicles.
You won't.
But Ginger asked the gentleman how much hand sanitizer that they think they go through in one day, like just that one gentleman. And he said probably about 10 bottles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, like, no kidding, before you get on every single ride, they squirt you hands with hand sanitizer.
Yeah, they're constantly sanitizing high-touch areas like handrails.
That's right.
Next to, we had the refillable mug, and there's freestyle machines throughout the park. There are wipes there where before you use it, you can wipe down the screen. You can wipe down the lever that you push to get ice. So you can make sure that, I really felt very comfortable in the parks today because, for the most part, with very few exceptions, people were wearing their masks as they've been asked to do. They were staying an appropriate distance away from other people. The team members were working very hard to keep everything clean. So I really do feel like they have gone above and beyond. But I personally do feel more comfortable with us being in masks just because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. Even though the crowd capacity is lower than it typically would be, you're still in a group. And so I do feel better with the mask.
Like when we got on the virtual queue for Hagrid's, and which, by the way, Hagrid's right now is a virtual queue.
It never is typically,
right.
And it doesn't have express pass. So
right, and so from the time we scanned in to get in line for our time slot till the time that we got our stuff out of the locker off the ride, it was about 45 to 50. I think it's almost right under 50 minutes. That was by far the longest wait we had all day. Many of the rides we just walked right on because we had express pass, and but the only issue we saw with like people not obeying the lines and stuff, the socially distanced lines, was when we rode the Hogwarts Express. Everybody was doing awesome on Hagrid's. Like everybody was like watching, paying close attention. These 2 guys behind us.
I don't think they quite understood.
I mean, if they did, they kind of looked there once in a while, like, yeah, we're close enough, kind of thing.
But we all had our masks, so I still felt okay.
But other than those 2 guys, man, it was great. Everybody really did try to obey the lines and everything.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys there, I was laughing. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like being, if you feel like you're concerned that you might get too hot in a mask, I don't really think. I wouldn't have been too hot in the mask. I was hot because it was 97 degrees outside, and in the direct sun, with heat radiating off the concrete underneath me. So I think the heat index was easily over 100.
Yeah.
But
the mask was really not a factor.
That mask didn't make it 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, for sure.
But it, like I said, the neck gaiter was good. I would recommend that. I would definitely recommend it over reusable cloth mask that goes behind your ears, because like it didn't hurt my ears at all, and it was nowhere near as warm and hot as the reusable cloth mask.
Yeah, yesterday the reusable cloth mask did make my face sweat more than I think it would have had I not been wearing a mask. This one, I feel like it was pretty comparable. Like my face was sweating as much as it would have been if I hadn't been wearing the mask at all, because this is much more breathable. So yeah, and I will say I do have a mild claustrophobia. Like, I don't like things over my face or anything like that. The mask did not irritate that, and it didn't make me feel like, breathing was more difficult than it typically is or anything like that.
Honestly, the only annoying thing about the mask was it kept fogging up my sunglasses.
Yeah, but we did figure out with that, if you pull it up high enough that it's almost right beneath your eyes, like that it's not, it won't do that anymore.
And on some rides, that was even an issue on.
With the 3D
So,
glasses.
you're welcome, Deborah. Thank you for watching. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. If on some rides, like they have the 3D glasses that you wear,
Like on
which,
Spider-Man, I feel like it did it worse on Spider-Man for
Yeah.
some reason.
by the way, they are sanitizing those glasses before they hand them to you.
Yep.
But even on the 3D rides, like Spider-Man, Escape from Green, stuff like that, it would kind of fog up your glasses. So on those, if I took my glasses and held them out just a little bit to where I could still see through them, but had room for the air to escape, it didn't fog up my glasses on those. But honestly, that was the only annoying thing about it. It wasn't that it was like cumbersome or anything. Now, I think if I had a cloth reusable one, I don't think I would like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being honest. I don't think I would have liked that.
But I think if you have the disposable surgical masks, or if you have one of these neck gaiters, they're great, and it's really not a problem.
Yeah, this was way easier, way easier. And you know what? Another added benefit of it. Here, can you hold that for a second? Real-time display. So when you put it on, another added benefit of it. There we go. When you're sitting there eating or something, instead of having to take the mask off and setting it down on the table, you just go like that.
Yeah, that's true. Because you don't have to wear your mask if you are eating or drinking something. Like if you're in a restaurant, everybody takes their mask off at the restaurant, and the restaurants have done a fantastic job of spacing the tables far enough apart that you feel comfortable taking your mask off.
They were easily 6 feet,
if not more. And the people who come to your table to serve you or anything like that, they are encouraging mobile order as much as possible, but they still obviously have to bring you your food. So the people that are coming to your table are still wearing masks. So that was nice, and it's a good place to go if you do need a break. But also if you're walking around the park, like I had a cup of coffee in my hand this morning, and I was able to take the mask down while I was drinking that cup of coffee. Now, out of courtesy to other people, I tried to put the mask up between, sips, but I wouldn't have had to, if I was just walking through the park drinking a cup of coffee. I could have kept the mask down until I finished it. So, yeah.
And that's the nice thing about this one, because, can you hold it right there for me? You are finished eating, you finished getting a sip of water or whatever. Boom.
You're done.
Doesn't hurt my ears, doesn't pull on my ears.
Yep.
It's easy.
Yeah.
And like I said, it stayed on during Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. So,
and Hagrid's, yeah.
So you don't have to take it off and set it down. You don't have to hang it, dangle it from an ear,
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. I think that your experience with masks in the theme parks is 100% dependent upon the type of mask that you have. I would
Totally
suggest staying away from the cloth reusable ones,
because those things get hot.
They get really hot anytime. Purchase yourself a pack of these. We'll put a link down in the comments to the ones that we purchased from Amazon. We got a good deal on them. Or you can get a box.
$16 for
$16 for 6 of them. Or you can get a box of the disposable masks, and those are much more breathable than the cloth mask too. But I think if you come in with the right mask, if you build in breaks in the day, so make sure if you need to take a rest in one of those rest areas, just make sure that you plan breaks from it, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. But that's our experience. Okay. We want to hear from you guys if you have questions about it that we haven't answered, or if you have your own experience with masks that you want to share. You can feel free to drop those down in the comments, and we'll respond to those even after the live video is added. But our experience, positive. Wouldn't stop me from coming back again.
Yep, with the right ones.
Yeah, with the right ones. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight. We do have one more day in Orlando. We're going to be walking around and touring some resorts and doing some other fun things tomorrow. So be sure to follow us on YouTube, or if you're also on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you can search hashtag GingerMMT, and you'll be able to find our posts that way
Yeah,
too.
you'll see if you go on Ginger's Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
facebook.com/GingerMMT, you'll see a bunch of pictures she took today of the
Yeah.
parks and the low crowd levels.
Yeah.
And I mean, some photos in Universal Studios,
There's
she's the
nobody in
only
them.
person in it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and we met the Tim Tracker
Yeah,
today.
we
That was
did.
so cool. We were walking through Islands of Adventure, and I looked over and went, "That's Tim."
Yeah.
And we got to meet him, and it was so cool
He's
getting to
super
talk
nice
with him.
guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, check out the Tim Tracker. He vlogs about Universal, Disney, his family. He's a local, he's local to Orlando, so all of the Orlando attractions, he's your guy. So
that was super cool.
yeah, he's nice in person as he is on YouTube. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching again, guys. We hope you have a great night.